And for more, we're welcoming in criminologist and former NYPD officer Brian Levin. Brian, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. And we just hear Mills describing these couple of attacks on Thursday happening within hours of one another. This is on top of the IED bombers targeting protesters near Gracie Mansion in New York City last week. We were tracking that. There was the deadly shooting in Austin, Texas the week before that as well. Is there a heightened threat level on U.S. soil right now? And do you expect this will only increase through Operation Epic Fury?
Yes, and yes. And one of the things that I've been doing, though, has been with my colleague James Nolan of West Virginia University, disaggregating, for instance, FBI hate crime data and targeting. And what we've often seen around geopolitical conflicts related to the Middle East are increases not only in hate crimes, but also in fatal attacks and plots. And it can go across many communities. With respect to the examples that you brought up, ISIS is a Sunni-oriented foreign terrorist organization, and they do not get along with Shia. In fact, they attacked and killed each other in Iraq in recent decades past. So what I think is interesting, what we've often seen, just bear with me, many years ago, when we saw bombings from different parts of the political spectrum, we saw the Unabomber get active again. So what I think we're seeing is a diversifying threat matrix. Last year, we saw many related to geopolitical conflict in the Middle East, and that was the first year in about 7 or 8 where white supremacists and far right were not the most responsible. So last year, just listen to this, we saw an increase in fatal attacks, but they were diversifying, and there was not one entity like far-right white supremacists which had really dominated the fatal attackers over the previous several years. So in this time, give you an example, the 90s, after the Hebron massacre, we saw a terror attack in New York which killed a teenager, but we also saw the highest number of hate crimes against Jews. Similarly, we often see increases against our Muslim brothers and sisters as well. So what we have to do in this diversifying and expanding threat matrix is make sure that law enforcement and all different community and house of worship groups have a plan and coordination with local law enforcement.
Certainly. And these sort of radicalized lone wolf style attacks, what should Americans be aware of right now?
Well, first of all, with this fellow Jallo, he was on probation. So, you know, what we've seen in a recent decade are people like Dylan Roof, who did the church massacre, or Jallo, who shouldn't have had access to firearms, get access to firearms. So that's something. I think people should also look at the fact that through many of these examples, along with an ideology, is some kind of personal dissent. So if you see someone who is talking about violence and has had some catalytic event in their personal life, they could be the kind of freelancer that we're most worried about, in addition to the expanding targeting that the Iranian regime might want to do if they have the opportunity to do so. The inspired ones are the ones that we certainly need to watch out for, including folks like the ones who attacked San Bernardino 10 years ago, who were inspired but not orchestrated or connected. They tried to communicate, and ISIS feared that they were plants.
Wow. All right, Brian Levin, appreciate the time tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.